Solar Plexus 101. So the solar plexus, better known as the manipura, this core self, right? So our third chakra, which is where everything that sets us apart from everyone else exists. This is who we are. This is where our individuality lives, our personal power, our sense of self, the proactivity that we have, how we move, how we live and breathe in our being, right? How we act, how we get things done. All of that comes from the third chakra. When this chakra is strong and balanced and open, we give off confidence, we give off reliability, we give off trustworthiness, loyalty. There's like this warmth that exudes from our being, this friendliness that others find rather irresistible, to be honest, right? You ever met that person that just had that appeal that just drew people in for no apparent reason? And this same thing within the solar plexus at its highest, like this chakra, the third chakra, presents a rather personable sense of charisma and humor as well. But when it's not grounded though, and not emotionally balanced, it can become like a hammer. Ooh, I hope I can say that. And it may feel almost like a sudden force of power. And if this chakra is blocked, it can cause us to lose all sense of self-confidence too. And the ability to get things done or get things accomplished. So in other words, the solar plexus chakra, when balanced, actually it's a big deal. It makes a big difference in how we function and how we live out in the world. And so not only is the solar plexus called the Sanskrit term manipura, right? Another word for the solar plexus is also the sun chakra or the power chakra. And this word usually, manipura usually translates to the place of the jewel or the city of jewels or something like that, something with the jewel. And so imagine having a space where you keep all of your prized possessions, like all of your jewels, all of your information that you wouldn't dare share with anyone else, all of your abundance, your pictures, everything leading through your bloodline, your heritage, right? Your opportunities. Imagine that place. That's the solar chakra, right? Right where your rib cage meet. That's like a little below that. That's like the solar plexus. And that represents this sacred place within the body. So there's a person named Harish Johari that actually says that this is the body's center of gravity. So this chakra is actually associated with the fire element. And thinking about our first chakra, which was the root chakra, that represented groundedness. It represented, this sense of earthiness and foundations, right? Solidity. And then we moved to our second chakra, which represented this fluidity, this movement, this very watery energy, this flowing. And now we have our third chakra, which actually projects this sense of heat and energy as if it were the body's own inner sun, if we will. Coincidentally, the color of this chakra is also yellow. It's a bright yellow, and the flower is actually depicting a 10, it's a 10 lotus petal flower. And this chakra actually radiates, encompassing the stomach area, the pancreas, the gallbladder, the liver, So when it comes to that sense of strength that we carry, where our strength is physically manifested in our muscles, right? It's also linked to the third chakra. And it's associated also with the middle of our backs, as well as the upper intestines as well. So when you're born, you don't really have a clear sense of who you are, right? We don't know. And we even find it difficult to separate ourselves from those that nurture us. So as a baby, when you're born, you don't really understand the difference between you and your mother when you're young. And you tend to feel this sense of oneness, right? Especially with the mother. But it could be with others as well. There's no sense of self yet when you're really young. But the older that you get, you start to understand yourself apart from everyone else. Around 2 or 3, you'll begin to understand that. And the older you get, you start to gain a sense of autonomy. And when you start to understand your autonomy, this is like the beginning of your development of that third chakra. But it doesn't stop there. You begin to understand yourself being set apart, this sense of power that you carry within yourself. And this is a process, a continuous process, where your solar plexus chakra reflects this sense of self that we all have. And it reflects the ego and who we see ourselves as mentally. And again, it's a lifelong process. It's not something that you just wake up one day and you just have. No, it's a process. And understanding more and more about ourselves can be an asset, of course. I'm sure everybody would agree, as you're moving towards where you're supposed to be and you're understanding your calling and your purpose in life, right? It's necessary to understand who you are, set apart from everyone else. It also allows you to become more equipped as well. The solar plexus allows us to become more equipped to do things, to get things done in the world, to understand our own abilities, right? It's exercising that personal power and the ability, understanding our own ability to make life better for ourselves, the understanding that we hold that in our hands. So the solar plexus has also gained kind of a bad rep for being ego-driven or the selfish chakra, right? But I kind of disagree with that. And I speak from personal experience. What others may call selfishness, I tend to understand that it can actually be okay. I actually find it quite helpful and quite healthy to be self-full. Not selfish, but self-full, full of self, not egotistically, but in understanding that you come first. And it's necessary to find a level of association with yourself apart from everyone else. That's necessary. And the more we're able to do that, the more we have at our disposal to be helpful and to offer to others. I believe that. So contrary to popular belief, I feel like many times because of different parts of society where we're learning and we're carrying forward traditions, like we've been taught the very opposite. We've been taught, I heard some girl that was talking about we've been taught to serve. We haven't necessarily learned about our position and our power. We've just been taught to serve. And I agree with that. And so the solar plexus helps us to understand parts of our value apart from everyone else. And in order to truly love and be effective in the world, we have to find our own sense of autonomy. Even when it comes to creating relationships, especially when it comes to creating relationships, I feel like there needs to be first the full understanding of our own autonomy as a whole person. And I feel like we must know and understand ourselves and be confident in that power that we know about ourselves, right? Am I wrong? So self-care and self-development, I don't feel like it's selfish. I feel instead of using the word selfish, I use self-full. Yes, I am full of myself because I understand that I am, the beginning. I am the center of what comes from me. And it's necessary when developing a healthy third chakra. Right? It's just not possible to, though we do it all the time. I know there's those of us that's been very codependent, we go through life and we want to portray our lives to be one way when in fact, when behind closed doors, we may be very dependent upon others to the point where our success is dependent upon whether someone else is there with us, right? But the solar plexus chakra helps us to not only understand, but it helps us to navigate and develop within ourselves so that we're able to exist independently when and if that ever becomes necessary. It's a birthright. It's a birthright. It's a quest. And it's not selfish, but it's self-full. And it's necessary, right? It has everything to do with our self-esteem, the way that we deal with control issues that we may develop or that we may find ourselves, dealing with, what we put up with. It has everything to do with willpower and our ability to move forward. It even has a lot to do with how we digest food, because it's a part of that part of our body, and how those foods are able to be processed within our body, right? And how those foods are able to pass through our digestive system, pass through our guts and our metabolism, right? How we're able to actually turn that into energy in our body. And so the solar plexus is very necessary. It is a very necessary part of our being. And in addition to that, I do want to add in and talk about a few things that are associated with the solar plexus chakra, just random things, right? I've added these to all of my Chakra Centers 101. So the solar plexus, which is the third chakra, also called the Manipura in Sanskrit, is identified with some random things. Like for animals, you'll find the solar plexus identifies with birds or the ram. And when it comes to angels, the archangel would be Michael or Uriel. The part of our body, of course, is going to be the mental part. And the color is actually yellow for this sacral chakra solar plexus. The foods are grains like pastas, bread, rice, cereal, seeds, any kind of seed, dairy, dairy, spices like turmeric, ginger, and cumin, those spicy spices, right? We're talking about fire. For the gemstones, we're looking at amber, topaz, citrine. These are all yellow stones. Gold or any other yellow stone would be part of the solar plexus stones. For goddesses and gods, it's Agni, Athena, Helios, Lakini, Ruja, and Saraya. For herbs and spices, we're looking at gold seal, and I think that lemon balm, and incense would be like cinnamon or dragon's blood or ginger for incense. The key word for the solar plexus is opinion, and the kinds of people or friends or colleagues, right? Friends or colleagues. The metal is actually iron. The note for the solar plexus is E, the key of E. And the number of petals, again, we said was 10. The plane of existence is the celestial plane. And the ruling planet is Mars and Pluto. And the sound for mantra is arang. And the sense is the sight. The organ is the eyes. And the shape is the downward triangle, which represents fire. And the tarot is the wands. The verb or the term of action is to do. And the vowel is the awe, as in top, or awe, as in father, awe. And the yoga path would be power yoga, which is like a contemporary form of yoga that combines a traditional style of poses for yoga with challenging dynamic movements for a more intense physical workout. I would guess that hot yoga would kind of be under that too, because it adds that element of heat and pressure to the regular workout. For the zodiac signs, it was surprising because I would have sworn Sagittarius would be in there, but I guess not. In spirit, I'm in there, okay? Anyway, the zodiac signs would be Aries and Scorpio. And so, yeah, that's what I have for the Solar Plexus 101. Solar Plexus 101. So our beginning components and the facts about our solar plexus, the manipura, that's what I have for you. And I hope you are enjoying this whole these episodes that I'm putting together for you. I got tongue-tied. And I just uploaded my number 4 mantra meditation, the heart chakra, over there. So go check it out. Go check it out on my series over on YouTube, and find a quiet spot, maybe 30-40 minutes where you won't be disturbed, and take it away. I hope you enjoy it. And until our next video, I will be back later this week with more just little fun facts about the solar plexus. Until next time, thank you for stopping by, and take care. Oh my.